Mama always said, you want to buy land and build a cabin and do all these things, you better save your pennies, young man, so you can do it. Mama was right. I'm still saving them.
Well, hey everyone. Very sorry for my absence. I know I've posted very little over the last several weeks, but I've been struggling with some major technical difficulties as I pull my channel out of the multi-channel network. If there's any YouTubers watching this that are considering partnering up with an MCN, you might want to rethink things or at least talk to a few other YouTubers that have withdrawn from the multi-channel network. Unfortunately, most of the nightmares that I was warned about, I have been suffering through. One of them is my channel has gone unmonetized for nearly a month. I lost some serious revenue. That was pretty hard to take. But I think we've got it all figured out now. I only got one copyright claim today. I think we're good to go. And I'm going to get right back to posting on a fairly regular schedule. But for right now, I just want to put out a quick vlog, share what's on my mind. We just got our first show of the year over with. For those of you that are new to my channel and you don't know what I'm talking about in reference to the shows, my girlfriend and I own a small spice company where we set up a booth at different fairs and festivals and we sell our spice blends. Marinades, meat rubs, that sort of thing. I'll put a link down in the description below so you can see what I'm talking about. But this was a 3-day show, and throughout this show, I witnessed some of the worst childhood behavior I've ever witnessed in my life. Oopta. When I was a kid, if I didn't behave, I got an ass whooping. And I learned really quick to smarten up. But, oh well. So I'm going to share my thoughts on a few things there. And let's get this vlog underway. When I was a kid, I grew up much like any other boy in America. I lived in a small house on a city street. And my parents struggled to make ends meet like most of the other parents in the neighborhood. It was pretty evident that we didn't have a lot of money. Our house needed siding. We only had one car in the driveway, and it was always an old clunker that my dad was constantly repairing, patching all the rust holes with the Bondo, you know. On the surface, we were pretty much like everyone else. The only difference between myself and all of my friends was that when I would ask for things, maybe it was a new toy or something I found in a catalog or a new bicycle or something like that, 9 times out of 10, I didn't get it. We had food in our bellies and shoes on our feet and a roof over our heads, but there really wasn't any money for extras. We did okay at Christmas and birthdays. Those obligations were fulfilled. We had toys and treats and a big feast. So there's no complaints there. But aside from that, like I said, there just wasn't any money for extras. So by the time I was maybe 10 years old or so, I just didn't ask for things. I didn't have that expectation. And it really didn't bother me until I saw my friends getting all of the things that I wanted simply by asking their parents for them. So at that stage of the game, that's where jealousy falls into the picture. At any age, it doesn't matter how young or old you are, when you see someone that has what you want, then jealousy comes into play. And jealousy is such a destructive emotion, it serves absolutely no good whatsoever. You see, at the time, I was learning a very valuable life lesson, but because it wasn't being explained to me properly, and I was seeing my friends always getting whatever they wanted, I was starting to develop a little bit of resentment towards my parents. But then about the time I got to be around 15 years old, I came to the realization that I had more than all of my friends did. And it's because I had to earn it. By that time, I had it all figured out. While their daily wants and wishes, all those little simple desires were being fulfilled, I was saving for the bigger, more important items. A year before I got my driver's license, I had already purchased my own truck. When I was 16, I was the only one out of my whole group of friends that had his own apartment. And when I was 18, I was still the only one out of my whole group of friends that was taking out a mortgage on a piece of property. By not being spoon-fed everything I want was the best thing that my parents could have ever done for me, and I am so, so very grateful for that.
Nice frisbee, huh? It's still a good toy.
What's prompted me to make this video is a combination of ridiculous comments and ridiculous actions that I have both read and witnessed recently. When people hear that I took out a mortgage at 18 years old, there's a certain group of folks that will usually respond with comments like, "There's no way he got a mortgage at that age, he was given that money." I don't even bother responding to them, because in actuality it was just the opposite. What enabled me to get everything that I wanted in life was because I wasn't given anything. Now at the show over this past weekend, I saw an awful lot of money spent on 6-foot tall blow-up aliens, 5-foot tall blow-up banana, big inflatable crayon, things of that nature. Now I can understand a little girl 5 years old or whatever that wants the little blow-up pony, or the boy wants the dragon, or whatever. You know, at that age I can understand it. But I saw a lot of teenagers 15, 16 years old walking around with these 6-foot tall blow-up aliens. I happened to go over to the booth to see how much these things cost, and the 6-footer was 20 bucks. Now, I don't care what people spend their money on, and I'm certainly not trying to tell anybody how to raise their children, so don't put words in my mouth. I really don't give a fiddler's fart what anybody does. But what I experienced over the weekend made me reflect on my past, and one incident in particular did so. There was this little boy raising a royal ruckus because he wanted one of those blow-up things. And he was freaking out. You can see he's been eating cotton candy and he's got this and that, but he wanted that blow-up dragon and freaking out. And then a little bit later, I run across them and he had the dragon. Again, I don't care. But it made me reflect back when I was young and I asked for things and I didn't get them. When I asked for stuff when I was a kid, they weren't given to me, but more often than not, my dad would give me the opportunity to earn it. That was the most valuable lesson I could have ever gotten as a child. If my dad had given me everything that I asked for when I was a kid, all that would have done was taught me to be totally dependent upon my parents for my wants and needs. It would have never taught me how to get anything on my own. I would have never learned how to provide for myself. I was discouraged from impulse purchases, and I'm so glad I did. impulse purchases, like all the money pissed away on these blow-up aliens. Certainly the novelty of that purchase is going to wear off in a short amount of time, and it was just money blown that could have been saved for something more important down the line. For instance, when I was a kid, I always wanted to have my own boat. My dad had a boat. I wanted my own boat. That's a pretty big purchase for a kid. But I had multiple streams of income. I was mowing lawns, raking yards, shoveling walkways for multiple families. I was digging worms, picking night crawlers, trapping shiners, trapping crayfish, because I was selling to 2 different bait companies. Even when I was 10 years old, I had a little business going. I had an account with a wholesaler, and I was buying cases of bazooka gum, root beer barrels, fireballs, stuff like that, bringing them to school and selling them at retail. I had quite the little business going on until I had the whole school on a sugar high and they shut my business down. But in short, I always had multiple streams of income going on. The only reason I had that going on is because nothing was given to me. By not having everything that I wanted handed to me on a silver platter, that offered me 3 choices in life. The first choice, I could just cause a really big hissy fit because I wasn't getting what I wanted. The second choice is I could go out and earn it and get it on my own, which would not only teach me how to earn money, but more importantly, how to manage it so I could get what I wanted. Or the third choice is I could simply go without. Which one of those choices do you think I ran with?
Frankie and the boss out walking in the woods, living life happy and free. Tracks in the snow everywhere they go, there's a pokey way up in that tree. A beaver built a pond where they have some fun, taking life a day at a time. Best friends until the end. Frankie and the boss, Frankie and the boss, Frankie and the boss.